Hello, fellow Core to Force challengers. I am here today to talk Core to Force meal plan and eating guide, talk to you about some of the great recipes that are in the eating guide itself, talk about some meal prep, some freebie items, just kind of walk you through all of the meal plan, because there's some differences between what you may be used to if you have done a Beachbody program before, or this might all be brand new to you. So we're just going to kind of cover everything to make sure that you guys have all of the info that you need, because I'm sure you guys are all excited to get out to the grocery store and start buying all of the ingredients for your meals this week. So we're going to start off we're literally going to be going through the Core to Force eating guide, not quite page by page, but in a pretty similar order, just so I can explain everything for those of you that are brand new. And then as we go through, I'm going to talk about what some of the differences are from previous programs for those of you that may actually be familiar with a similar style eating guide already. So I purchased my Core to Force kit through Beachbody On Demand. I rarely use DVDs anymore, so I went and did a digital unlock. Now, I know that we have had some great videos so far this week, from workout space to discovering what your why is, and before and after pictures, some different things like that. And one of the really great things was the Beachbody On Demand videos. I mean, they were all great, but were some of the Beachbody On Demand videos. So I actually exclusively use Beachbody On Demand at this point, and I do it a few ways. A lot of times I will do it on my computer and hook it up to my TV, but then I also have the app that is on my phone. So I keep it, I'm going to be referring to my phone a lot, so I have a Beachbody folder, and so I have my Beachbody On Demand. So when you click that, it brings up the VOD there. And so I just select Core to Force, and it takes me to all of the workouts that I have for Core to Force, as well as the eating plan and all of those wonderful things, workout calendar, etc. I'm not here to talk about Beachbody On Demand. I'm just letting you know that that is how I currently utilize it, and that's how I'm going to be utilizing it as I talk about it today. So when I bring up the eating plan, it literally looks exactly like the hard copy. It's almost like they just scanned the hard copy in. So if I were to print this out, it would look identical to the hard copy. For those of you that, there you go, have the eating plan. So that's the first page of the eating plan that comes with your kit there. So as you're scrolling through, kind of the first thing that it comes to is finding the food plan that's right for you. So this involves some computation, but as opposed to some of the other programs in the past, they're very simple computations. You take your starting weight and you determine your caloric baseline. From there, you add in a deficit for the workouts, a caloric deficit for the you first discover your caloric burn. We're taking into account that we're burning calories while we're working out throughout this. So you have to take into account that you are expending some energy and need to make sure that your body is being fueled. So you need to add in calories for the caloric burn from the workouts. Then you need to subtract out a caloric deficit to make sure that you are actually eating less calories than your body needs to maintain in order to actually have fat loss or weight loss. If you decide that fat loss or weight loss is not what you're interested in right now, you're more interested in maintaining or gaining strength, you can stop at the maintenance level. You can stop with step 2. You don't have to go on to figure out what you need to eat at a caloric deficit. So I went ahead and created a little chalkboard to kind of talk through this. I know that this is a little old school, but this is what I normally write my what's for dinner. So we're going to start off. So I have my starting weight, and you multiply that by 11. It's what they tell you to multiply it by, so you multiply it. So I'm going to go full transparency here. My starting weight was 175. When I multiply that by 11, I get 1925. This is the amount of calories that, in theory, my body is burning on a daily basis. 1,925 calories. So if I want to maintain my weight and I'm not working out at all, 1,925 calories is how many calories, that's kind of what we're estimating my body is burning. Now this is going to differ, but depending on your person, depending on your metabolism, your metabolic type, things like that, but they have to make it easy somehow, so that's where you start off with step 1. Then you take that 1925, or in my case, and you add in 400 calories for the caloric burn. So when I do that, I get 2325. So, oops, get that out of there. We have 1925, and we add in our 400 for our calorie burn, and I get 2325. So that is how many calories I would need to intake in order to maintain my current weight. I do not want to maintain my current weight, and I imagine that a lot of you that are doing this program are also not interested in maintaining your current weight. So we will we will subtract out 750 calories for caloric deficit. So mine was 2325. We are subtracting out 750, and that brings me to 1525. Like that. So that is my calorie target. That is, in theory, approximately how many calories I should be intaking every day while doing the workouts in order to get weight loss or fat loss. You take this number and you take it to the nice, sorry, I'm just going to log in my phone real quick. You take it to the meal plans that are laid out. There's plan A, B, C, and D to start off with, and you figure out which caloric range your target falls into. Mine is 1525, which falls into plan B. So for those of you that you see them listed out here, A, B, C, D, I fall into plan B, which is 1500 to 1799. So yes, if you do your calories and your target is 1501, you still eat in plan B. So I chose plan B to continue on all of my meal planning and all of my meal prep. So then you have to figure out, what does plan B mean? Now, for those of you that have done a Beachbody program before or have some of the recent programs with the Portion Fix containers, we're very familiar with plan A, B, C, and D, and just figuring out how much of each food group you're allowed to eat based off of that plan. For those of you that are brand new, this basically tells you, you choose your plan, and this will tell you how many of each food group that you need to eat: vegetables, fruits, carbohydrates, etc. So as you keep scrolling through, or as you flip to the next page on your eating guide, it will tell you, it will lay out everything that you need to eat within that plan. Now, this is general categories. So these categories are split into veggies, fruits, protein, carbohydrates, healthy fats, seeds and dressings, as well as oils and nut butters. So what you can do with this plan is two things. You can go to your plan and it will list out how many portions of each of those things that you need every day. So for plan B, I need 4 veggies, 3 fruits, 4 proteins, 3 carbs, 1 healthy fat, 1 seeds and dressings, and 4 teaspoons of the oils or nut butters. So, like I said, there's 2 things you can do here. You can either determine, based on the eating plan as we go in, how much one portion or one serving of each of those fruits, vegetables, etc. are, and it lays that out in the eating plan. It says if you are eating blueberries, this is how many blueberries is 1 portion. So for people that like to measure out their food, weigh out their food, this is a really great option because you don't have to worry about the containers that we're going to talk about in just a minute. And as of now, I do not believe that the Core to Force program comes with the container system. You can purchase it, the Portion Fix system. You can purchase it separately, and the meal plan allows for that, and it tells you how many containers of each you need. But before we get to that, so as you're going through and you're saying, I need 3 portions of fruit a day or 4 portions of fruit a day, you go to the list of fruits and it will tell you what equals 1 serving. So you just choose 4 different options from there, or 3 different options, however many fruits you have. You choose that many options, and that's what you eat for the day. So if you decide that you really love raspberries today, you can eat 3/4 of a cup of raspberries 3 times a day, and you'll get your 3 portions of fruit in. There is also the container or the Portion Fix program as well. This was started, for those of you that are unfamiliar with Beachbody, this was started by Autumn with her 21-day fix program. And what's really great about these is that you basically fit whatever fruit, vegetable, carbohydrate, healthy fat within reason. Again, we're going to talk about some of the acceptable foods in a minute, but you just basically fit whatever fits into that container, essentially, is 1 portion. So you have your green containers, that's for your veggies. You have your purple for your fruits. You have your red for your proteins, your yellow carbohydrates, your blue healthy fats, and your orange seeds and dressings. And then we all have teaspoons in our cabinet, hopefully, and that's how you're going to account for your teaspoons. So if I have 4 portions of vegetables that I have to eat, I either can go to the list and choose green beans, and it will tell me you eat 1 cup of green beans, or whatever 1 portion of green beans is, and I can measure out that 1 cup. Or I can put the green beans into this green container, put it in here, dump it on my plate, and we're good to go. So that is one difference that this program has from some of the other programs that have recently been released. Up until this point, since 21 Day Fix has been released, pretty much exclusively Beachbody has been, and there may be some exceptions, but they have been including the Portion Fix containers as a part of the meal plan. It comes with your base kit. But with this program, Joel and Jericho and the nutrition team beside it kind of figured, well, maybe not everybody loves these containers. Why are we going to box everybody into these containers? So they've allowed for you to use the containers or to not use the containers, depending on your preference. So this is something that is a little bit different for those of you that have done a Beachbody program recently. So just to recap, we're going to go ahead and do our computations. You figure out what your caloric target is. You see what meal plan you fall into. And you go to where it lists out the different meal plans as to how many fruits, vegetables, carbohydrates, etc. that you can eat each day. So, like I said, I'm on Plan B, so I get to eat 4 veggies, 3 fruits, 4 proteins, and this all, like I said, is just on my phone. So at any given time, I can pull this information up through Beachbody On Demand, whether it's through the app or online, and it tells me how many of everything that I need in case I forget. So before we get to talking about what some of the acceptable foods are, since we're talking about meal plans, the meal plan that you just computed is your base meal plan. And this is, again, very different from some of the other programs that Beachbody has recently released. Typically, you get your meal plan, and you stay on that meal plan for the entire duration, 21 days, 30 days, 60 days, until the completion of the program. And then at the end of 1 round, you can compute your calories if you have hopefully lost weight at that point, and you figure out what new meal plan you fall into. This is different in that it is a 4-week program, and it uses a progressive nutrition system. So what this means is you start off with week 1 at your base nutrition, the base nutrition plan that you just computed. So I chose Plan B, or based on my caloric target, I'm in Plan B. So that means that week 1, I follow plan B to a T. Nothing more, nothing less. And yes, this is important. You want to eat every single one of your containers and teaspoons in every single day. We want to make sure that we're fueling our body with the proper nutrition and also making sure that we are fueling our body enough nutrition. That's very important. And something that in this first 10 days that I've been doing this program, I have not hit every single one of my calories or every single one of my containers or portions every single day. And that's something that continuing on with this program for the rest of the round that I really have to focus on trying to do because it is really important. So week 1, you've computed your base caloric target and you know what your base plan is. Plan B for me. I go through week 1, I eat all of my containers in plan B. Week 2, we're going to progress our nutrition and we're going to add in a fruit. So you're eating every single container that is on your plan and then you're adding in an additional fruit. So plan B tells me that I should eat 3 fruits. I now on week 2 get to eat 4 fruits. Week 3, we're going to add in, you're going to keep that extra fruit. So we're base plan plus 1 fruit. We're going to add in an extra healthy fat, which is awesome because when we talk about what some of the acceptable healthy fats are, you're going to realize that you have to choose between avocados and hummus and cheese. You're going to really hate a lot of people. This way, you only have to choose you get to choose 2 out of the 3 of those rather than trying to figure out, do I want a quarter of an avocado today or do I want cheese on my spaghetti? So that's actually a really cool addition that you get an extra healthy fat. So week 3, we are eating our base plan, every single container that's in our base plan. We're adding in that second fruit from week 2, and now we're adding in an extra second healthy fat. Or I believe, yes, all of the programs, you only get 1 healthy fat during your base plan. So now we're adding in a second healthy fat here. So you eat 3rd week, you eat all of those things every single day. Week 4, we go back down, and to finish out the program, you go back down to your base. So why do this progressive nutrition? Why are we going to add things in progressively and then at the end take them away? Well, that has everything to do with your workouts and how hard and intense you're working out. So if you're unfamiliar with the calendar, I actually do have my calendar printed out because I've been checking off my days. During week 1, we are just doing 1 workout a day. MMA speed, dynamic strength, power sculpt, MMA shred, and active recovery. Sometimes you repeat a couple of those workouts. We're just doing 1 workout a day, ranging from 30 to 45 minutes. Week 2, a couple of days a week, we add in a second core workout. This is Core Kinetics. It's a 15-minute workout. So we're increasing how much we're working out, therefore increasing the intensity and increasing the energy spent and the calories that we're essentially losing. So you need to make sure that you're making up for those calories. So that's why we're adding in a second fruit there, or an additional fruit there, because you're expending more energy and you need to make sure that you're feeding your body enough. Then week 3, almost every single day, we're adding in an additional. I think there's 1 day that you're not adding in additional. So we went from a couple of days in week 2 to now we're adding in an extra workout almost every single day. Now this ranges from 5-minute core on the floor to Core Kinetics. So, 5 minutes versus 15 minutes, but still you're still adding in, or you're still expending more energy. So you need to make sure that you're fueling your body more. So that's why we're adding in that additional healthy fat. And then going to that final week, we're still doing really intense exercises. We want to then take ourselves back to that base plan to kind of really almost like cut at that point. If you're familiar with bodybuilding, it's essentially kind of a cut week there. So we want to eat a little bit more at a deficit. So just some really interesting way to go about our nutrition. So if I haven't done a great enough job explaining all of that, you can ask some more questions. We can reach out to Joel and Jericho and get a few more answers from you if from them if you are still a little bit unsure as to why we're doing everything, or if something sounds like I said it wrong. This is just basically what I have gotten from studying the guide, studying different Q&As that they have done, and just, I'm now on day 11. Yes, today is day 11 for me. So, it's only a 30-day workout, so I'm actually almost halfway through this program. So I've been eating my additional fruit every day. All right, so we have discussed a lot so far, and we still have a lot more to go. This is a longer video, and I apologize to you guys for that, but this is really important, especially for those of you that have not done a Beachbody nutrition plan, because as you will hear so many people in this group say is, the general rule of thumb is that nutrition's 80% and your workout is 20%. No, that doesn't mean that you don't have to work out. It just means that your nutrition plays a huge, an even bigger role in your weight loss, your health journey than working out does. The two combined is what's going to get you those ultimate results. And some people in this group have found that for them personally, even 90 or 95% of what their nutrition is actually what goes, like, they think that nutrition is 95% versus 5% of workout. So, there's some different thoughts, but if you go with the general 80-20 there, you can still see that your nutrition plays a much larger role. So that's why this video is a lot longer, and we're kind of going through everything step by step. So bring Beachbody On Demand back up, and we keep going. And there's some sample menus for you. It gives you some ideas of, eat this many yellows of this meal or whatever. But then it gives you the directory of food. This literally is going to lay out every single acceptable fruit option first, then veggie option, so on and so forth. It lists out, these are all of the acceptable foods to eat from this category. So the best fruits for you to eat, according to the eating plan, are going to be raspberries, blueberries, blackberries, strawberries. And you get 1 cup of each of those for a portion. Or if you don't want to measure anything out, you can fill up a purple container and call it a day. So I get 3 fruits for that first week, 4 fruits for my second week and third week, and then go back down to 3 fruits. So I can do a combination of, I can have 1 cup of raspberries, and then I can have maybe a banana, and then have another cup of raspberries, or maybe switch it up and have some strawberries, or I can just eat raspberries all day because they're at the top of the list. But it even tells you as well that 1 portion of a banana is a half of a large banana. So just making sure that you're paying attention. It's hard to, put a banana into a container. So it gives you some guidelines of, half of a large banana. Again, it's still a little bit subjective there. But this will tell you, for the most part, the amount and how much of each thing to eat. So as long as you know how many portions you get and you have the food list in front of you, you'll know exactly what you can and cannot eat. Something to note about each of these food lists is that, yes, on this, unsweetened applesauce is an acceptable fruit, but it's the very last fruit that's listed. Why is that important? That's important because they tend to have the foods that are the best for you, or that you're going to get the best nutrition out of, at the top third of the list. So if you're starting off and this is a really overwhelming program and scenario and such a different nutrition system, feel free to use all of the foods on that list. If it's on that list, feel free to eat it, because starting off and taking that first step can be the most difficult part. That's why they tell you that you can eat unsweetened applesauce. It's allowed, but you're not going to get the best nutrition out of this. So if you're at a point where you want to make sure that what you're fueling your body with is the absolute best things that you could be fueling your body with, eat from the top third. Also, if you feel like your weight loss or your fat loss or your inches are not changing at a pace that you anticipated, take a look at the foods that you've been eating and see where they fall on that list. If they fall in that bottom 2/3, maybe consider switching them out for some of the foods in the top of the list, to see if switching out some of those quote unquote better foods for you is going to be a little bit better for your nutrition and your health journey. So just know how many portions of everything you need each day, go to the food list, and that will tell you exactly how. And you can go extremely simple. You don't have to make a crazy meal plan. You can say, okay, I'm allowed to have chicken as one of my proteins. Well, I'm going to have chicken every day. I'm going to have green beans as my vegetable every day. And I'm going to have raspberries as my fruits every day. And just buy out the chicken, green beans, and raspberries from the grocery store. You can be really simple like that. Or we're going to talk a little bit later about some different recipes and some meal planning tips. So yes, you still have me for a little longer here. So then our top veggies are going to be kale, watercress, collard greens, spinach. So those dark leafy greens are going to have the best nutrients for you. So that's one big mistake that a lot of people make when they're eating their salads every day for lunch is they're just using a romaine or an iceberg or a spring mix. But what's actually going to be, if you like having a salad every day, just replace those lighter colored greens with some of the really dark leafy greens, like some kale or spinach. And then just have your salad as usual. Also, maybe don't use ranch dressing. But you can kind of swap out, so just start there. Start, if you have a salad every day, start swapping out your romaine for some baby spinach. Then our proteins. Yes, the best protein for you is sardines. I have a can in water that has been sitting in my pantry for about 2 months because I'm still terrified to try them. But fresh sardines are actually going to be one of the best protein sources that you can have. And then you go with your boneless chicken, skinless chicken thighs or chicken or turkey breasts, duck breasts, goat, lean ground chicken or turkey, so on and so forth. Kind of a general rule of thumb that I like to follow is, and I think somebody in our group said this one time, the less legs that the original animal has, the better of a protein it's going to be for you. So if you think things like fish, cod, salmon, all wild caught are going to be the best. Sardines, obviously, is at the top of the list. Then you have your birds, your poultry, your chicken, your turkeys. Those are going to be a little bit better. And then you go to your four-legged animals with your red meat. So if you think of it as a progression like that, it kind of keeps it, that's not always the case here, but it's a good guideline for you to follow. If you're thinking, I really want a really good protein for post-workout, go to your cods, go to your sardines. And if you want to have a burger one day, you can use that lean ground beef as well. Just making sure that it's extra lean. I think greater than 95% is going to be the best. So that's not set in stone by any means, but if you're kind of thinking what protein should I have, you can kind of think in terms of that, the less legs, the better almost. Not to say that your lean ground meats are not going to be good for you as well. So then we have our carbohydrates. Sweet potatoes and your yams are up at the top of the list. Plantains are also really good high on the list. Then your healthy fats, like I said earlier, this is really hard. This is a really hard category for everybody because you're choosing between avocado, nuts, hummus, and various cheeses. So if you only get one portion of those a day, gun to your head, what would you take? That's such a hard decision. I've been doing a lot of avocado because it is at the top of the list. Avocado and nuts tend to be my two go-tos. And I will sprinkle in occasionally some cheese in there, a little bit to kind of spice things up. So there's our healthy fats, and then our seeds and dressings. This tends to be one of the most difficult categories for people, not because they have a hard time choosing, but because they're not sure what really falls into this. So there's several dressing recipes in our eating plan that we can choose from that fall into this orange category. But if you want to use a dressing that's just a simple balsamic vinegar and olive oil for one of your teaspoons and save your orange container. Some other things that you can eat are things like chia seeds and flax seeds. You're not just going to do a shot of chia seeds though, right? I mean, you could, but I wouldn't. So a great way to do this is to add it into your Shakeology or some Greek yogurt throughout your day as well. Just mix them right in there, and that kind of knocks out two birds right there. And then you have your oils and your nut butters, your teaspoons. So your almond butters, your peanut butters, making sure that they're kind of like the natural, no sugar added types. And then your olive oils, coconut oils, etc. So we just went through all of our food lists. So you know kind of the basics of what you can eat at this point. So let's actually talk fun stuff, recipes. So this gets really difficult because a lot of people say that, they're just getting bored with what they're eating every single day. They don't just want plain chicken breast and plain brown rice and plain broccoli anymore. So this, every eating guide with Beachbody comes with a set of, fun recipes. This one has some extremely fun ones because they're not really recipes that are seen in any other Beachbody program. For example, there is a barbecue chicken pita pizza. It is a pizza. It's made on a pita. And yes, it has barbecue sauce on it. So that's pretty cool. So it lists out some options: a Greek yogurt bowl for breakfast, a tomato basil omelet. So my two favorite recipes so far have been that maple barbecue sauce that's on the pita pizza. I haven't actually made the pita pizza, but I've made the barbecue sauce. And I used it to make a sloppy joe. I took an extra lean ground beef. I sauteed it with some onion and some spices, and then added in my barbecue sauce and made a healthy sloppy joe. Because yes, this is a healthy barbecue sauce. And it's really simple to make. You literally take a can of tomato sauce, a can of tomato paste, add in a couple of spices, and it's perfect. I think you use a little bit of pure maple syrup. You use a couple dashes of Worcestershire sauce. But it's really simple to make. You don't have to heat anything. You just have to stir everything together and it's ready to go. And then I just added it to some lean ground meat. I want to try it with some ground turkey next to make a turkey sloppy joe. But that's kind of an early favorite. You can literally use that on anything. You can do any sort of ground meat that you want. You could do a rotisserie chicken, and you could pull the chicken, a pulled pork, pulled chicken, things like that. Anytime you want barbecue sauce, anytime that you would use barbecue sauce, just swap it for this barbecue sauce. It's delicious too. It's such a good recipe, and it's so easy. The other thing that I have really liked so far has been the spaghetti squash with turkey meat sauce. Now, I have only had spaghetti squash a couple of times, so I was really nervous. I don't think I'd ever made it myself, so I was really nervous, but this one's a little bit more of a time-consuming recipe. You have to roast the spaghetti squash first for about an hour, and then you scoop you take a fork and you actually get the spaghetti noodles. Then you portion them out onto the plate, and there's a really great turkey meat sauce recipe. Again, it's super simple to make this turkey meat sauce recipe. It's filled with lots of veggies too. You have onions, peppers, mushrooms. I personally don't like mushrooms, so I just added extra onions and peppers in there. Each of these recipes tells you what one portion equals as far as containers or portions. So one portion of the spaghetti squash with turkey meat sauce gets you 1.5 greens, a half of a purple, that's from the tomatoes and the tomato sauce, 1 red from your ground turkey, and then a half of a blue because it allows for a little sprinkle of cheese on top. You can use a half of a blue of cheese on the top of it. But it lists out, here's your ingredient list. And then it tells you your instructions and gives you a little peek as to what it's supposed to look like at the end. The last one that I have made that I'm really loving was a jalapeno and cheddar burger, or jalapeno and cheeseburger. This recipe calls for cheddar. I used mozzarella. But instead of a bun, it has you put it on a bib or a butter lettuce leaf with a tomato and an onion. Again, super simple. You take an extra lean ground beef. This calls for raw 95% lean ground sirloin. I found a 96% that I used. You dice up jalapenos really tiny. You add those. You add your cheese. You add some Worcestershire sauce, salt and pepper. You mix it all together. You just portion it into the individual patties. You grill them up, or you can cook them on your stove or in the oven. It gives different instructions for those. Put it on top of a nice big piece of lettuce, top it with some tomato and onion, and you have a delicious jalapeno cheddar burger. So if you're sitting here saying she literally just told me that I could eat barbecue sauce, she told me that I could eat pasta sauce, and she told me that I could eat a burger, you've got to be kidding me. She's crazy. Yes, I am crazy, but not about this. This is actually in the book, and I have made all 3 of those recipes that I told you about. I've eaten them. I felt full. I felt satisfied, and I've lost weight, and I've lost inches in only 11 days of doing this program. So I'm not crazy about this. What they're talking about is actually working. So if you make sure that you're following the amounts of containers you're supposed to be eating. You utilize the recipes that they're giving you as some options. Stick to those top third of each of the lists. You're going to be really good. You're going to have a really good jumping off point for your journey. And doing the workouts every day, of course. So now we're going to talk about some things that are kind of outside of the eating guide, because I pretty much took you through the eating guide. And we're going to talk about some wonderful things like Shakeology. If you did not purchase a challenge pack, you're missing out because our challenge packs come with not only the DVDs, or if you did a digital unlock, the workouts, and the eating guides. Your challenge pack will also come with Shakeology, which you can use as a replacement snack, or you can add some stuff to it to make it a replacement meal. But it's just one great shake that you can make that has 70 plus of the healthiest ingredients in the world to create one dense nutrition shake. This isn't a protein shake. This isn't a meal replacement shake. This is a nutrition shake. It's really important to know, because this is why it's so different from any of the other shakes that are out there on the market. So if you have not purchased a challenge pack, or you have not tried Shakeology, contact your coach, let them know, and you can get some Shakeology to try, whether it's a 7-day sampler, or just go ahead and get the full 30 days. If you don't like it at the end of the 30 days, you can send back your empty bag for a full refund. So you have your Shakeology, and so that actually takes the place of one protein. If you make just your Shakeology with water, one protein. Now, there are some ways where you can make this a more filling meal, or actually use it as a meal replacement, but that requires adding some various foods to it in order to make it more of a dense meal shake here. Because this happens to be the chocolate, and it's only 160 calories. 160 calories is not a meal. So we're going to add some things to that shake in order to make this more of an acceptable meal, while also knocking out some of our other containers. One of the biggest questions that I have seen since I started Beachbody is, how do I get more greens in? I don't like vegetables. What am I supposed to do? I don't like vegetables. My husband doesn't like vegetables. My boyfriend won't eat vegetables. My fiance, personally, we agree on about, I think if it were up to him, it would be like 4 vegetables, and 2 of them aren't even real vegetables, corn and potatoes. So we don't agree on many vegetables. So I have to figure out ways that, if I'm making the meals for the 2 of us, I have to figure out ways outside of those meals to get some more vegetables in. So the best way to do that is to add your dark leafy greens into a blender with your Shakeology. You can't even tell that they're there. Even if you have just a decent blender, throw your spinach in there, throw two green containers of spinach in there. You've knocked out 2 of your greens, and you haven't even noticed that you had your greens at all. So spinach is a really, really, really great way, or any of your dark leafy greens. Go ahead, throw those right into your shake. It's going to add the nutrition. It's going to add a few calories. Just throw it in water, Shakeology, whatever flavor. It works with every single flavor. I do it with chocolate. I've done it with cafe latte. I've done it with literally every single flavor. It's going to give it a weird color, yeah, but you won't be able to tell when you're actually tasting it. Water, Shakeology, spinach, ice, blend it, you're good to go. You could also add in your seeds, like I talked about earlier, your flax seeds and your chia seeds. You're going to add those in, and those are going to go ahead and get rid of some of those that orange container for you, which is, for me personally, the hardest container to get in. One thing to note here, so I'm going to do a quick thing about milk. So there's some different studies out there, and I'm not going to sit here and preach to you about, you should or should not drink dairy milk or whatever. I personally am of the belief that, or personally think that dairy milk is not for me. It's for some people, but when I've done some research, looked into some studies, I've chosen almond milk as the quote-unquote milk that I'm going to drink. But I really don't drink a ton of it to begin with. I only ever use it in my shake because it makes, for me personally, a creamier shake. In other programs, Autumn with the 21-Day Fix, she has come out and said that even though in the eating plan it does say that almond milk counts as a yellow container, she feels that the calories from almond milk, if you use an unsweetened almond milk, it's only 30 calories for a cup. So she feels like that's okay to kind of use that as a freebie. But this plan, no one has specified that it is or is not a freebie. And in the eating guide, it does specifically say that it counts as a yellow when you choose to use it. But you can only use it like 2 or 3 times a week, what they suggest. So I always make my shake with almond milk. So that's been a huge adjustment for me in just using just water, like half the time using just water and half the time using almond milk. How I've combated that creaminess that the almond milk was giving me is I put a banana, I put it in the freezer, and then I blend my banana into my shake, and the banana helps bring some of that creaminess back in that the almond milk was giving me. So until someone comes out and says, yes, we treat this like 21-Day Fix, and almond milk can be a freebie if you want it to, it is a yellow container, and you should treat it as such, and only utilize a milk a couple of times a week. So we got that covered. Okay, so then there are some items that I'm going to now refer to as freebies. Now there is a whole list in the eating guide of freebies: lemons, pepper, no sugar added hot sauce, some things like that. There's a whole list of things that you can use as much of them as you want, and they are considered freebie items. You can use as much of them. You don't have to count them for anything. But these freebies are a little bit different. They're the Beachbody Performance line and the Shakeology Boost. Since we just talked about Shakeology, I'm going to talk about the Boost right now. On a daily basis, I only use one of the 3 of these, but I have all 3 of them for various scenarios. So the one that I use almost every day is Focused Energy. Just a scoop of Focused Energy right into my shake. Can't even tell that it's there. This is going to be a natural caffeine source for you, and I don't even think it's considered a caffeine source. It comes from green tea is the source of the caffeine in it. But anyway, this really, it makes you a little bit more alert. It really does get you focused and give you the energy, hence the name Focused Energy. But what's really cool about this is, like, if I'm like dragging a little bit and I forgot to do my Focused Energy, like, I can tell that I didn't have it, but I don't get, the headache or the shakiness or anything like that when I don't have it. And also when it's added in, it doesn't give me any jitters or anything like that. So this is a really good natural source to get that energy and focus that you need throughout the day. So I use this in my shake almost every day. And then there are 2 other Shakeology Boosts that have different purposes. Power Greens, which can be added to your shake as well. All of these, they're Shakeology Boosts, so you add them to the shake. You don't have to, but that's pretty much what they're made for is to be added to your shake. Your Power Greens is going to give you some additional source from some additional nutrition sources that maybe you haven't been getting from your vegetables. For people that don't eat vegetables a ton, this is a really great boost to add in. Unfortunately, it does not replace a green container, but it does help you to get in. If the one and only vegetable that you like is at the bottom of the list, get some Power Greens and throw those into your shakes as well, and you're going to get a lot more of those nutrients that you would from some of those dark leafy greens. And then you have your digestive health boost. So this is going to be really great to help with your GI system and your digestion system. So I utilize this when I feel like I'm not getting enough greens. I utilize this when I feel like maybe I had a bad weekend with some food and I need help getting things, moving along a little bit. So this can just be added into your shake as well, just to basically help flush everything out there. So those are our freebies, so you don't have to count those as anything. You can put them into your shakes, and they count as like 0. Then we have our Beachbody Performance line, which I think most of us that have tried the various Beachbody Performance line items will swear by them. So I'm just going to grab my models here. To start off the Beachbody Performance line, you have your Energize. I do not have a container. The container looks similar to this, except for it's a black container. But this is your Energize. It's a clean pre-workout. There are some people that they'll take 1 scoop of this before their workout, and they'll be like zooming. They'll be able to zoom through their workout. They get, they feel the tingles, and it really just gets their energy up. And especially using it if you're having a day where you're really not feeling like working out, taking a scoop of Energize will really just get you a little bit more focused into your workout. This is a very different product than our Focused Energy, though. So, they're for 2 different purposes. Your Focused Energy is going to be for your every day, all day, staying focused at work, staying focused, and just keeping your general energy up. Your Energize is specifically a pre-workout that's going to help give you your energy throughout your workout. And it's a lemon flavor, so you just put it in some water, down it. Some people, I think they recommend 1 or 2 scoops, and there's instructions on the container telling you how much you should do based off your weight. I think one person in our group, she consistently uses 3 scoops, but most people don't go that crazy. Then we have, so that's for a pre-workout. For your during your workout is the Beachbody Performance Hydrate. This is a citrus flavor as well, so it does have a yellow color to it as well. Like, if you guys can see that or not. It has a yellow color to it as well, so it's not to be confused with your Energize. But this you just add into your water bottle, and it's a better no chemical version of Gatorade. It doesn't have that added sugar that things like Gatorade and those, Powerade and stuff have in them. So it's a very different flavor because it's not sweet, but it has all of the good things that you want in, all the good things from those like Gatorade and stuff, the electrolytes and stuff like that. It has all of those good things, but it doesn't have the chemicals and it doesn't have the sugar. So this you drink during your workout. After your workout, you're going to go to the green container of Recover. Recover comes in 2 flavors, chocolate and orange. I'm team both. I'm not discriminating here, but some people are more team chocolate. Some people are more team orange. The chocolate tastes kind of like Yoo-hoo, and the orange kind of tastes like an orange creamsicle. But you just do this with water. Again, all of these you just add to water and you're good to go. You can get a little fancy and maybe, throw this in a blender with some ice to make it like a milkshake almost. That's what I'll do occasionally when I want to be fancy. The orange, when you do that with some ice, blend it in a blender, it kind of tastes like an orange Julius. So that's for your after workout. This is kind of, when a lot of people will say like, oh, I have to have my protein shake after my workout. This is kind of what that is, but it has specific proteins that release at various times after your workout so that you're getting the most effective effective use from your workout. Just doing your workout alone is great, but there's a lot of things that happen to your body post workout that the different proteins that are in Recover are going to help release or are going to help enhance those great things that are happening outside of your workouts, so that you continue to burn calories, you're continuing to burn fat, things like that. So this is not just your normal protein shake. A quick note about this though, this and this are Shakeology. Do not combine the two of them. They have chemicals in them that are going to interact negatively with each other, and you're going to essentially lose all the great qualities of them two individually. So make sure that you are drinking your Shakeology at a separate time than your Recover. You can drink your Recover and then an hour later have your Shakeology. That's fine, but do not mix the two together. A quick note about that. Then we have our creatine. I have never actually used this before. This is used to really enhance your muscle growth. No, this is not something that is for guys only. Girls can use it as well. But this is going to just help with your muscle growth. I don't know a ton of the science behind it because I haven't used it. But you can just type creatine into Google and find out some great information about it and whether or not it's right for you. But that's to be used, I believe, it's before your work. Drink within 30 minutes after exercise. So that's another post-workout that you can do. And then we have our final Beachbody Performance line, our Recharge. This is vanilla flavor. And this is going to, you actually drink this right before you go to bed. And it helps to make sure that your body is still working while you're sleeping. It's going to help for a little bit better sleep. And it's also going to make sure that it is doing, like, that your body's still working while you're sleeping. So those are the Beachbody Performance line, and those can be used at any point, or, at the appropriate point, and those are considered to be freebie items. Again, contact your Beachbody coach if you are unsure if one of these products is right for you, or if you really want to try them out or want a little bit more information. So we're almost at an hour here, and I know that this is really long, but hopefully you guys find it to be informative. We have our meal prep. So meal prep is going to definitely vary from person to person. So I came up with a quick list of some things that I've seen people in our group do, as well as things that I have tried, to give you some tips as to meal prep. So there's 3 main approaches to planning out your meals for the week. You can wing it. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because as long as you're tracking your containers every single day, when you eat a fruit, you cross your fruit off. Making sure that you're at least, and then at the end of the day, you're just eating whatever containers you have left. That's a very viable option that works for some people that have crazy schedules or don't necessarily have an opportunity to eat the same things every single day, or you just don't have the same schedule all the time. So that is kind of a good method for those people. But not a lot of people find that the best planning method, but it is an option. Then you can do where you just plan out every container that you want to eat. So you say at breakfast, I want to eat a protein, a vegetable, and a carbohydrate. For a snack, I want to eat a vegetable. For lunch, I want to eat a protein, a carbohydrate, and a fruit. For a snack, I want to eat a fruit. For dinner, I want to eat so on and so forth. And you can just say, it doesn't matter what the protein is, as long as I'm eating one protein at this meal, one carbohydrate at this meal. And that allows you to just kind of mix and match and do some different things every single day. But you still have it planned out to, I know that in order to get all of my containers in, that I need to eat this many containers at each meal and with each snack. So that's an option as well. Or you can sit down and plan out specific meals that you want to have at specific times. So you can say, on Monday for breakfast, I'm going to have Shakeology. For a snack, I'm going to have my Shakeology, and that's going to be one protein, and then I'm going to add spinach to it, and that's going to be one green, and then I'm going to add my chia seeds to it, and that's going to be one orange. And you can literally list that out for, a week at a time and have every single meal planned out. I did that and I really enjoyed that method because it allowed me to, before I went grocery shopping, I knew every single ingredient that I needed. So I had everything on hand. I knew what I could prep in advance versus what needed to be prepped day of or the day before. And it really kind of organized me really well because I didn't have to think throughout the week of what I was going to eat. That's kind of an extreme end of things. And if you find that works for you, that's awesome. But that doesn't always work for anybody, which is why, just planning out, general, container layout works really well for a lot of people because then they can kind of grab what is on hand as opposed to having to figure out, sit down and spend the 2 or 3 hours planning out every single meal. So those are kind of 3 common methods that people use. For actually meal prep, you can make all of your meals on Sunday and, just reheat as you go. That's a really great method and it works really well for a lot of people. Saturdays and Sundays tend to be days where we all have, big open spaces of time. So you can take the 3 or 4 hours to make literally everything that you need for the week. And you can even portion out each of your fruits into little individual baggies or little individual containers. And so that you just go in and you grab what you need when you need it and you can just reheat it. The other thing that I like to do personally that works for me is to actually make staples and just store them in large containers in my fridge. So I will make 1 large batch of brown rice. I will steam a couple of heads of broccoli. I will steam a whole bunch of asparagus. I'll roast some potatoes. I'll roast some sweet potatoes. I'll get one of the big family size chicken breasts and I will either throw all of it on the grill or I'll cook it all in the oven and just season it simply with maybe a little bit of Himalayan salt or sea salt and some pepper and just bake it in the oven. And then later on, what you can do with any of those ingredients is you just pull the big container out, you portion out what you need for that meal. And then if you'd like to, for chicken, for example, you've now made a whole batch of chicken and it's Monday for dinner and you have this maple barbecue sauce that you want to make. So you make the maple barbecue sauce, you take your portion of chicken that you need, and you just put your maple barbecue sauce right on that piece of chicken that's already cooked. So now you've taken what could be a 40-minute meal and you've turned it into a 5-minute meal. Some other great ideas too are if you like to eat plain oatmeal, you can make a large batch of that in the morning and then on a Sunday and then just portion it out every morning. And then when you reheat it, you just add some things like some cinnamon to it or a flavored extract, maybe like a peppermint extract or, some different things to kind of give it a little bit of flavor because bland oats aren't the greatest, in my personal opinion. But again, we're not wanting to add things like brown sugar or anything like that to them. So we are still making sacrifices. As awesome as this has all sounded so far, we are making sacrifices for our health and making sure that we're eating the best food. So sometimes things are going to be a little more bland. You can also make like a quiche or an egg cup. So if you want to make egg cups, all you do is you essentially make up a big batch of scrambled eggs, add in peppers, onions, spinach, broccoli, like whatever veggies you have on hand, add them into your scrambled egg mixture and then pour the mixture evenly through a muffin tin. If you have the big muffin tins, or even the normal size muffin tins, and then you figured out, okay, my muffin tin holds 12 muffins. I made 12 eggs, so in theory there's an egg per tin. Well, you can have 2 eggs for a protein. So in the morning you grab 2 egg cups and reheat them and you're good to go. And you already know you've got one of your proteins and however many veggies out of the way. So those are some meal prep ideas. I talked about some of the recipes in the book, so definitely look through your eating guide and figure out some recipes that really sound like some things you want to try. Use Google. You can type in things like 21 Day Fix, recipes, Pinterest, because all of these recipes are essentially using the same foods. They're just a slightly different plan. So you can use a recipe from a 21 Day Fix blog, and you can, the recipe will tell you this counts for one red, 1 green, and 1 yellow, and okay, when I eat this, I'm eating 1 red, 1 green, and 1 yellow. So definitely look on the Beachbody blog. You'll get some great recipes there. You'll get some great Shakeology ideas. When you find good recipes, post it in our challenge group. And we all post in our challenge group whenever we come across great recipes as well. Write the link in there for them. And if you ever have a question about anything, whether something's acceptable or how do I make my broccoli taste better or anything like that, which the answer is coconut oil. If you have questions like that, just throw them in your challenge groups, and all of us will kind of say what's worked for us in the past, and you can experiment with a bunch of different things. So that's all I have. I know it's surprising. It seemed like the hour just started a second ago, right? Yes, I know that this is a long video, but there's a lot going on in it. So I really hope that you guys sit down, take notes, have your eating guide out as you're going through this. I know I probably should have told you that an hour ago at the beginning. But hopefully you guys took some great notes, and you will be, as long as you follow these basic tips that I gave and utilizing tips that have been released in the challenge group already and following the eating guide, you will be set. And in 30 days, you're going to start noticing, actually in less than 30 days, you're going to start noticing that those pounds and those inches are dropping off. So good luck with Core de Force. And I hope you guys all have a great first day on Monday. And with meal planning between now and then, reach out. We're all willing to help you. So have a great day.